comfortable in their roles. I know I personally am, but how did the writing and everything else go this week? Did it go better or? No, that doesn't seem very confident.
No, it went better for me. It was just harder to find something to write about.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's a constant struggle of journalism, you know. So, but, all right. So now into the steak and potatoes. The election. So yeah, the election. So I reached out to all the county offices around here. I heard back. So the York Dems, their chairperson's like out of town or something. So, and he's the one that does official press. The York Republicans, I left the voicemail. The Dauphin Dems, she gave me her personal phone number and email, said she would respond. The Dauphin Republicans, they gave me his personal cell phone. The Lancaster Dems, she said she would reach back out to me after she got in contact with the chairperson. The Lancaster Republicans gave me their email. The Cumberland Dems left a voicemail. The Cumberland Republicans, they gave me both of his phone numbers, his name. The PA Democratic Party for the state, they have a press email and a general phone number. I doubt we would get a response, but we can reach out Tuesday night. And the PA Republican Party, they had a phone number. I called and it said their voicemail box was full, which kind of made me laugh. So, oh well, you know, we have enough. At least we have at least people from both parties to at least give a comment. You know, people that are going to be up. Especially since it's their personal phone numbers, that's good. It's not a, you know, work number or anything. Other than that, so Rachel, I know that, you know, Stu and I, we were talking to you. Did you manage to write anything out yet? I mean, it's all right if you didn't yet, but.
No, I'm really sorry, not yet, but I can definitely do that. What are you looking for exactly? Just kind of like.
So what I think is, let me just see what I wrote. So I think we're going to need two stories. I think one is going to be more on the congressional and the state races. Those are going to be pretty much, you know, the results come in, we have the winner and whatnot. The one that we have to pay most attention to and, you know, is going to be the 10th congressional district. That's the one that's most likely to flip. And that would also, you know, like I told you, Rachel, that one is really important because if I'm not mistaken, that would solidify there would be more Democratic Congress people from Pennsylvania for PA state delegation in Congress, which would be very important if the election is a tie. Also, so I think we have to have those two. That one's going to be pretty straightforward, just kind of the results, just some basic background information, kind of what happened with that. The presidential one, that one's going to be a bit different, and that one's a bit more, we don't really know. Right now, we have information that we can base off of what is going to happen. The AP News, they just posted something about an hour ago, and they have some quotes from from Trump and also from some of Trump's people, where, you know, they're basically talking about their strategy right off the bat. They're saying they're going to be sending lawyers right in, and essentially they're going to try to stop the voting. So there's a very, very good chance that this could be like a 2000 election all over. So from a pure historical standpoint, this is a very exciting time to be writing in a newspaper. So I think a big emphasis on the more presidential one is going to be, is your vote going to be counted? Because I think it's a very good question to ask, especially, you know, since, you know, the president has, you know, he obviously is not on board with mail-in voting. He's quoted, a lot of his top people have already quoted, you know, in the AP News article where they're talking about, you know, essentially what they're planning on doing. So we could kind of have two scenarios on election night. Of course, I'm not a political scientist. I'm just using what I read, what political scientists are saying. So what could possibly happen is Trump could declare victory on election night, even though there's still a lot of ballots that have yet to be counted. Should that happen, there's a good chance there's going to be a lot of civil unrest that night. I was just reading an article, a lot of places in Los Angeles, they're getting ready for any type of civil unrest. And then what would happen from there, there's going to be court battles. It's going to be, it's probably going to go all the way up to the Supreme Court, which is, it's going to be stop counting the votes or keep counting the votes. The Supreme Court, like a week, 2 weeks ago, they sided with the PA Supreme Court, which said mail-in ballots can be counted 3 days after the election. So we'll see, kind of what happens with that. I think in the article, on this article, there's a couple things that I think we should hit, kind of going in this order. The amount of mail-in ballots, how much it was encouraged, why it was encouraged, the virus, and which party, really placed greater emphasis on it. I think we should put, the president, his statements on his distrust in mail-in voting. I think we should put his staff, his quotes, the president himself, what he has said about mail-in voting. Basically now what could happen now that the election is kind of at this weird position. And also, Dr. T, you mentioned about how the governor is going to be doing an ad campaign to kind of reassure people that their vote will be counted. I think we should include that in because I think a lot of people are going to be, they were encouraged to vote by mail, and now millions of people, they could be told, well, you know what, some guy in a black robe said, no, we're not going to count your vote. So I think a lot of people are going to want to know that. But should that decision be made that, no, your vote is not going to be counted, there's probably going to be a lot of protests, which is something we have to keep an eye out for. For the congressional piece, I already said the 10th Congressional District, that's between Eugene and Pasquale. Yes.
For a moment. Something you could do in advance, and this is what we always do at a paper, is write things, have two versions. This person won, this person didn't, had the same language, and then you just have to keep going back and updating the numbers. That way you're not going crazy trying to find the stuff.
Yeah, I think you had mentioned that, didn't you, David? We were going to set up something like that.
Yeah, we were actually planning on setting something up like that. Just something that's generic enough that we can kind of pull it, either way that it goes.
And get some political science professors, because what they're going to say is that we always count votes after election day. That military coming in, it takes a long time because there could be a mail strike where they are. We've got the mail-in, which cannot be opened until election day. So find somebody, at campus to say, this always happens. Get experts out, because we have a lot of experts on campus.
I thought I seen something too that said they're allowed to start counting votes.
Not till tomorrow.
Yeah, but they're allowed to start them early.
Yeah, they got this.
The Dauphin County, the chairwoman, if I heard her correctly, she said that they're going to start counting the mail-in ballots tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Okay. So
they might start counting them earlier, because I know that the deadline to get them in is 8 p.m., but a lot of places, they might start counting them a bit earlier.
Yeah, they've got a bunch already to count, so.
Yeah, which is, good, which, we might start getting a good impression of, what's going to happen. I mean, and on a normal election, last time, 2016, they didn't even call it until like 4 a.m. So for this type of election, who knows? It could be days, it could be weeks, and it's not like there's any type of legal requirement that it has to, that the votes have to be counted on election day. It's not until, I believe, December that the votes have to officially be in. For the
vote announced the same day. Most countries in the world don't. We're the only ones that have to want an answer that day. So keep that in perspective,
Yeah, and at the very least, the president, the new one, it wouldn't even be sworn in or re-sworn in, until like the end of January anyways. So there's plenty of time for people to count out votes and stuff, get things situated. Then the second story, this one's going to be a bit more basic. There's probably not going to be too much controversy flying around with this one, the congressional piece. The races to keep an eye out for, like I said, DePasquale and Perry. Last election, it was between George Scott, who's running for state senate now, and Scott Perry, and the election came down between a couple hundred votes, I think. Very, very close, and that's because of the restructuring of the PA Supreme Court of, last cycle. Also, the 11th district, that's in Lancaster, for our Lancaster campus, that's between Sarah Hammond and Lloyd Smucker. Lloyd Smucker's campaign, their campaign manager said that they would answer questions that we had, and then they never responded to the questions we sent them. But that campaign is more than likely going to be a, Republican victory. Then the 13th, that's Raleigh and Joyce. The 9th is Muser and Wegman. So for the State House and State Senate, the seats that we want to pay the most attention to is the 15th Senate District, which is Scott and DeSanto, and the 13th, which is Janet Diaz and Scott Martin. I was reading somewhere, and they said that the state government, while it's likely to stay Republican controlled, needs only 4 seats in the Senate to flip and 9 seats in the House. Let's see what else. And like I said, if there is a tie, then whoever wins in the 10th could, they could impact, who wins the presidential election, which I think is pretty cool. A local congressman could, that's pretty cool. So that's kind of where I have there. Also, something might be kind of cute that we can do, since everyone's a voting age. If everyone's voting, they could take maybe a selfie with their I voted sticker on outside their polling place, and maybe we could put something like that up on the website tomorrow, just kind of to show that, we're all involved in our community.
I already voted per mail.
Man.
So if we do the protests, I will do the protest news coverage if you'd like, because I may go.
You could be on the front line. So
I'm going to need that press badge.
You cannot participate, but yes, definitely go.
Well, no, I meant to cover it. You know what I mean?
Let's check.
Participate just by watching and writing a story on it.
We need to get you guys press passes.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where it's at now. There's just a lot of uncertainty for how it's going to go, which is exciting. I mean, it's really exciting.
It is exciting.
But so we have at least kind of a blueprint for how it might turn out based off of what we already know, and based off of we know that Joe Biden is going to fight to extend the deadline to count the votes, and we know President Trump is going to fight to close the deadline. It's just a matter of what happens. So as for that, if anyone has any type of suggestions, I will say election night, we are going to need people up. I'm sure most of you are going to be up anyways, eagerly watching the TV. I had said that I would be putting in on the website on the banner the results as they start coming in. Other than that, I mean, we're going to need, people up at least to, as the news starts to come in, to start adjust the blueprint story that we already have. If no one wants to stay up, I can do that as well. But it's up to you guys.
I can leave a Zoom open too, because of a close contact who just tested positive. I have to work from home and not in the newsroom tomorrow. So I will have all 3 computers going, so I can keep the Zoom open for you guys, and I can help edit, do whatever you want.
Awesome. That sounds good.
I'm so pissed. I'm just going to kill somebody.
No, I know. If I seem like I'm on my phone, it's because that friend that tested, she was up and now she's crashing real hard, so she keeps telling me things. Sorry, I am listening though. I promise. Yeah. I have a child. I hear everything all the time.
Second question: do we have headshots of all these candidates?
No, we don't. We're not going to get the headshots from the actual candidates.
But you can get this from their websites.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, so that's.
Get those. Let's get them ready to get them to
we just have to screenshot it.
Processing and
she said a thing that said she was going to leave, and she said she'll get back on if it's on when she's home. I've tried to reach out to her a couple of times about headshots and stuff, and she seems confused. So maybe we can get a list of who they are, because I don't even know who everybody is. So we could, get a list of who they are so that we can Google these sites and pull them officially, or maybe just have, somebody else grab them in the meantime.
Usually on their campaign homepage, they will have an image that is fairly high res, so you can actually save it. And they do that for
Yeah, because it's like official, like you could steal this if you need to, right?
Yeah, exactly. That way they're not bothering, say 10 years ago, they used to have to email them out. So this way it's close.
Yeah. Todd Raleigh, he sent his downloadable thing, so it was like crystal clear when we got it. So hopefully their websites have that. I did actually have a question though. I'm not sure. So if we're gonna get like a bunch of county party chair people, their opinion, how many of these do you think we should get? Because the general message is going to be the Democrats, we think the vote should be counted. Republicans, we accept the results of the election, we stand with the president. So I mean, if a bunch of people we reach out to, what was that?
Try to get some students too. What do they think about it?
Okay.
You know, see if you can find any student groups, reach out in advance if they're organized. I don't know, that's hard this semester, but see if there's any organized, you know.
Should we do like a survey, like a pre-made survey, and pop it on maybe the student website, the Facebook, and
Yeah,
see if we can pull some of that and do our own polling or something?
yeah, that'd be awesome.
Okay. All right.
But I don't know if you're watching what's happening in Texas. I thought this was settled this morning, but now it's back at a federal judge that 127,000, you know, drive up, you know, voting, which is, you know, COVID safe, which Texas is worse than Pennsylvania. You know, the Republicans want to throw them out, and like, and with no way to remedy that situation. You know, I mean, so, you know, that's significant. So you want to get as many voices as possible, not just officials, but people want to see their voice, you know, themselves, professors, stuff like that.
And so for like the poli-sci professors and stuff, something that we do want to use them for is the next edition. Once the dust settles, we want to get their professional analysis on kind of like what the landscape is now. What happens, you know, I mean, if the Democrat is elected in the 10th, if there's, you know, kind of what's going on with the court battle between the two presidential teams. So that's where we definitely want to get, you know, Hack's own analysis of what's going on with that. And Rachel said that, you know, because of a lot of the restructuring with all the campuses, it might be kind of difficult to reach out to certain, you know, student political groups. So we're not sure if maybe you have any contacts or something we can reach out to.
Yeah, right now, I don't have any club information. So if you know of an advisor, I don't know who that might be.
I don't. I mean, I'm so new to Hack. There's got to be, things are kind of blowing up between faculty and admin, by the way. I might have a really good story for you guys in a week or so. I'm not kidding. After there's an emergency meeting in the faculty senate on Wednesday. If that tells you anything. I'm just looking up some other resources. Student Press Law Center has some general election stuff. See, the other computers really slow.
Those resources, can you post them on the D2L in that resource discussion board?
Yeah,
so that we have
something for Rachel right now. Oh, there you go. Oh no, you're not. You have to click in with your advisor or your student journal. So I just click student journal and go, no, yeah, I'll find it. But there's like election stuff. The Pennsylvania students. It's on Twitter. I just lost it. Student Reporters Committee for Freedom of the Press, because there's a lot of parties and organizations are trying to use COVID as an excuse not to be transparent. How's that? So Pointer and SPLC, I will put them in. Huh, interesting. Yeah. Yeah, freedom of the press, so that's not allowing reporters access to, you know, polling places, which normally there's specific rules. You can't walk up to voters. You can only be this close. I mean, there's very specific rules for, you know, the idea of not intimidating people, not taking the photographs, you know, if they're trying to say, nope, no press at all. That's not the law.
Are we allowed to ask voters in line, or because Hack is virtual, are we not allowed to do that?
You are allowed.
Okay.
Yeah,
that would be cool, actually. Yeah.
Certain number of feet, like from the door, you know. And you could ask, generally we don't ask people who they're voting for. You could say, how long have you been waiting? You know, something like that. The last statistic I heard this morning from CNN said that majority of Pennsylvania voters have not voted in advance, which I was kind of surprised. So that could be, you could have some good lines. And I think you can't do any, this may have changed too, but you can't do headshots. It has to be kind of like a long shot, if I'm correct. I could be wrong.
So like photos in public that are allowed per Pennsylvania law.
Yeah, but
okay.
You want to do a long shot versus unless you get a release, you have a release form.
And we should just use our like personal cell phones for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I did the last time I photographed the election. I walked up to somebody who looked like he had voted for the first time, was walking out with his parents. And I thought, that's just a story. You know, it's not political, but it's just history. Like, what does that feel like? He's like, all I did was walk in and I put an X. Like, I was waiting for a drum roll or something. It was this great quote, you know. I'm like, here, everybody. So everybody started clapping, you know, just because, you know, it's just kind of a smallish town, but you know, so that, you know, I looked for stuff like that, you know, where people had walked in with their very, very small child, you know. I'm like, oh, I think she'll remember that. And she's like, well, she better. She peed on me. You know, I was like, oh my God, that was unexpected. So, you know, look for.
Some professors have been working as poll workers. So that could be an interesting thing for the next edition, like students and professors who are poll workers. What was that experience like for them?
Yeah, I think one of my students is be a poll watcher. Wow. You know, we're not allowed to give extra credit for voting or any of those things. Like, can we give citizenship points? No, we can't even do that. You know, it's really a shame, but we can't. Yeah, but I'll see if she would talk to you guys. Okay, so how do you want my 221 students to help? There may only be 3, it may be 5, who knows? They're shy, but they're fun.
Are you allowed to give us their email addresses so that we can reach out to them in an official capacity?
Sure. Or I could have them email you, Stu, and we do it that way, or you know, whatever's easiest.
Yeah, I figured I'd ask if we could have them, because who knows if they'll take the initiative, or you know what I mean.
This is true. They are shy. You want me to do it through the course show?
Like a list of them so that everybody could see them?
Yeah.
Is that easier for everybody else? Or would you rather receive it in like an email?
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, because I know I'm getting my email box. I have to search now by name to find things.
Well, it makes me crazy. Like, I know it's there.
Yeah, I lose them all the time now.
Yeah, it makes me mad. Okay. I'll send out an email through D2L to everybody so you have it.
Okay. Yeah, and that too, guys, if you need to send emails to people, I know I sent the list out, but you can go in and go into class list, and you can email everyone straight from there if you need to, because it's all listed. I always forget that exists. All right.
Okay. That's a big cat.
He's fat. He's needy.
Okay, so your task list is find professors, get their headshots, okay, look at process. I haven't gotten any response yet to, can we have a Facebook group? Can we have a Twitter account? I've gotten absolutely no response yet. So,
That's fine.
well, I was just hoping she could be doing, you know, have that experience on election night. I thought that would be kind of cool for her, you know, but yeah, people don't operate on my schedule. That's all I can say. I get a request back says, you know, blah, 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 you know, service access request. It says priority low. I'm like, what do you mean priority low? There's nothing low about it. I'd say hi. I'd say emergency. Like now, you know, they don't agree with that assessment. That's how it goes.
Oh yeah, no, not 221 students, Rachel. No, it is.
I was so worried. I was like,
course number.
I like just got that now. I was so confused.
Matthew, speaking of editorial for next week, you want to toss out some ideas?
Yeah, for next week.
Yes.
Yeah. So there were a few topics I was thinking about. So one was in the poll I did for last week, which actually I'm probably going to do another one anyway,
Okay.
because it seems that not all the editorial staff are here, or I'm still not entirely clear on exactly whose opinions I'm supposed to be aggregating. But it seemed like there was interest in talking about homelessness and public housing. So that was one topic that was in last week's poll that I was thinking about doing for this week. I was also thinking about talking about teaching methods, especially in remote learning. So that's another possibility. And I'll probably have more specific language in the poll. I didn't have a whole lot of time last week, so this is kind of last minute. And then thirdly, I was thinking about LGBTQ resources on campus and talking about that. So those were kind of the general topics. And
anything
people
COVID
have
related?
what?
Anything COVID related?
I could do that too. Yeah, if other people, I didn't have that written down. I I guess I'm just so tired of hearing it myself. But that's important too. So
You can almost work
put
it
that on
into
the
any
list.
piece though too.
Right. Yeah. I mean, so in the most recent, I guess, yeah, both of the last two pieces had it incorporated in some way.
Yeah, the one I read today, that was a great add to that to see how it's also affecting current trends.
Yeah. I'm just thinking and I don't know if I just saw this or I missed it. I know that some states have already banned, Pennsylvanians and said you can't come here, but then it's been maybe modified. Like you can come, like my family's in New York. I gotta get the girls from Michigan and go to New York, but we have to show that we've had a negative COVID test within the last 2 days. Like, well, how will we get that? It has to be a doctor ordered test. So exactly how do we do this? And maybe do we just rent a car so it has a different license plate and just go anyway? Because that's what's going to happen. You know what I mean? So why don't we have access to testing? Like Slovakia just tested 2.5 million people, in a weekend, in a day. If they can do it. Okay, so they're a different government structure. Who knows if it was coerced? I don't know that, but why don't we have access to it? When we keep saying it's gonna be bad, how is it coming out? How it's bad, it's bad. Take steps.
I think a lot of that has to do, this is just opinion, I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that the president told the governors to fix it. And he completely was like, screw y'all, just the governors, you need to take control of your states. And the ones that didn't want what he wanted, even though he didn't direct, look at Texas blowing up. Pennsylvania is not blowing up, but it is, especially because of that Supreme Court thing where they fought Wolf and it went through, but then it didn't go through and then it was unconstitutional. But now all the Republicans believe that it's that ruling, even though that one was overturned. They forgot to continue on learning about it. So it's a lot of the states, and the Midwestern states seem to be hit harder because they're more red, I guess. I don't think it's
Wisconsin. The Supreme Court picked the governor almost immediately. So they were out in April at the bar.
So
and the universities didn't change the student code of conduct. So if there's an off-campus party, we can't do anything about it. They're off campus. And they want the city council to make a change. And the council's like, these are not citizens. They're not tax-paying citizens. They're students. So they didn't do anything about it until at the beginning of October, after, they've been there for a while. So they couldn't possibly close. I mean, it was just like, we're not responsible.
Yeah, we could probably go through and see which each states are doing and, the comparison contrast of, why things are raised and why they're not, but with data and stuff.
But, our editorial is supposed to propose a solution. Just a, option for testing before we travel would be, I think, a good editorial topic because we're all going to travel, and if we have to do it dishonestly, we're still going to do it. Because my girls have to come somewhere. I can't leave them in the dorms. The dorms are going to close at 5 on Tuesday, so they have to go somewhere. I have to cross 3 states to go and get them, and 3 states that don't want me there. So what's going to happen? And they're not going to take the bus because that would be worse. So there should be options to make sure we do so safely, as opposed to saying, oh, it's going to be bad in a month. We can take steps to make sure it's less bad. So that was one of my suggestions.
Yeah, so I did get disconnected in the middle of that. So I did miss some of that context, but you're saying, something about coronavirus and maybe about testing in the context of travel.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I will send the poll around again to the editorial staff with some, I guess, more specific possibilities, and I'm hoping to get that done um, by tomorrow sometime. So
Yeah, as soon as you send it out, I'll take it. I'll see it
okay.
and take care of it right away, like I did last time.
Yep. Okay. And also, well, okay. Yeah. Actually, yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Oh, and if there's anything that anyone would like to see on it, or would like to see me incorporate into it, I think you can let me know, and then I'll try to do a little bit of research around it. And if it doesn't get on this week's, it might get on next week's.
Okay. Okay. Okay, anything else before Matthew, before he goes and plays with his friends?
Nope, just reach out if you have any questions or need anything from us, like normal.
Okay, well, thank you. Appreciate your letting me go.
Okay.
Stu, do you want to talk about those story suggestions that you have for
Yeah.
next week?
Yeah, I'm gonna share my screen. Is that all right?
Sure.
Oh. Can you see the word thing I have up?
Yep.
Okay. So these came up in the student D2L thing. I forget what it's called right now, about upcoming things. The It's On Us group is doing the domestic violence and healthy relationships thing, but it's far enough out. It says Tuesday, November 3rd. I was wondering if we could maybe throw this up like tonight or tomorrow, if everyone's okay with that. Something that's, it's already there. We don't have to like put it out during each week. If stuff shows up, we can throw it out, right?
Sure.
Okay. And then the Veterans Day, we wanted that focus. So this is also something that's going on. They're honoring veterans by learning life lessons of persistence and determination from a decorated commander. And it's going to be a Zoom link as well. So we could throw that in for our Veterans Day one in the future.
Awesome.
Because that'll be not this week. Yeah, it'll be next Wednesday it goes out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's good. And then since everybody's locked in their house and self-care seems to be something we need to focus on now more than ever, there's this lovely rhythm and sound for self-care, something coming up on Zoom as well. What's it say? November 10th. So that could also be like the student focus. This is what's happening on campus for everybody thing. So those are a few like little throwouts for the week. And then this list down here, if I'm gonna zoom it, it's real tiny. There we go. There was a new coral reef discovered in Australia. Saturday or Sunday, because I'd listen to the news briefings on my Alexa in the morning. It'll give me my flash briefing. It tells me all kinds of stuff that's going on. So that was announced. So I grabbed 3 different articles to one of them has pictures of it, the other one has some information of it, and then there's one from CNN that has some stuff on it. I was trying to find the AP Direct story because I also wanted to ask, are we allowed to grab from AP and post their stuff as long as it says from the AP wire?
No, you have to be a member.
Okay, that's what I wanted to make sure. So we have to write up all our own original stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if we pull from CNN at all, if we pull quotes and stuff like a research paper, do we have to just give attribution?
I'd have to see what you mean, but if you say as reported on CNN, I mean, yep. I would, yeah.
Okay. As I figured, I just wanted to double check. And then we don't have any sports things. It's completely empty. But I do know Cristiano Ronaldo. He's pretty known. He's pretty famous. He's okay now so there's another COVID story we can throw out because sports and COVID are, there's that baseball player the other week that
Oh my God, I want to smack him.
Yeah, we're just not going to discuss that. If you know about it, cool. If you don't know about it, he's an idiot and went into a big crowd and kissed his wife and playing baseball. He's positive and he doesn't even care. So there's that. And I didn't want to write about that because I don't think that's a good. I mean, there's no positive to that. And I don't want to like bash somebody because we're the school. So I kept that one out of ideas. And then we do some field.
How about the 22 Wisconsin football players who tested positive after 1 week of Big Ten football?
Well, that's
22.
Well, it's Wisconsin, so.
I know. My alma mater, man. We knew it was going to happen. I mean, we knew that was going to happen there. We knew them of all places. That's because they're out of control there. But now we have to contact trace everybody they played the week before. And then the team that they played this week, which was, I mean, now you've got basically 3 teams. You know, I mean, that's ridiculous.
What about Penn State? I know that there was I think it was on Penn Live the other day that there's like some big parties that are going on and they're really doing nothing to stop it.
Oh yeah.
They said they were going to, because my brother, he works on main campus and he's part of one of the unions or whatever for the food, the cafeterias. And he said, you know, when they originally shut down and imposed all these regulations, they didn't even reach out to the union rep. They told them no, and that's a violation. So there was all kinds of stuff that like Penn State did, and now they're not doing because it was everybody was fighting them, even though they were trying to keep them safe. Because they said if you broke the rules, you were kicked out. How are you going to kick out your entire student body? You know, so I don't know.
Did that. They had students quarantined for 2 weeks when they came to campus. And then there was a whole group of freshmen, like 20 of them went and did something. So they're like, sorry, you're on interim suspension. And thankfully it was 2 weeks before classes started, but they're like, we're serious. You know, you voted to have in class. This is what you have to do. And you cannot go, whatever they did, they ran up to somebody, ran inside the bell tower and did, you know, like, you can't do that. You know, now you're going to be locked down for an extra whatever. You will miss your first week and that's it. So, but yeah, it was a significant amount of freshmen like crying to mommy and daddy, like, oh, well, you know, can't help you. So they can. But if you look at like a lot of people who are getting sick, it's the staff people who are getting sick too. That's what the concern is.
Yep. And then the last thing I have for any ideas that people need, feel good stories. You know, we have all this election stuff that people are tired of hearing about. COVID, people are tired to hear about. You know, we need to have some positivity as well. So I found 2 resources and stuff you could like find, and then you can research more on it. I'm sure it's all available. They found their information somehow. And we can find different good stuff that's going on. Like the reef story that we thought they were dying. We thought we were losing them. And now they found this massive one that's all brand new. And now there's all this new, ocean plants and animals and all kinds of stuff to study. That's great for science, in the wake that we're causing as it is.
There's the Apple event that takes place next week, right before the Wednesday. So that should be another good thing. Hold on. I'm getting a call from Lancaster. It might be one of the chair people. So just give me 1 second.
And I've heard that the PA Farm Show is starting to come up with like the ways that they're going to be either doing like outside or virtual events. So like I think it's before, and by the time the next edition would come out, it would have already passed. But they're like having outdoor like food vendors or things like that for something. And then I'm pretty sure I heard that a large portion of it was going online, but it was the Secretary of Agriculture who was announcing it. So I don't know how easy he is to get a hold of, or he or she. So there could be something with that.
We'll see if we can get a photo. See if they're going to produce it or release any, photos from the event. I'm sure they will.
Yeah, I do know that they were planning on doing the farm show virtual because I think it was Penn Live. It might not have been. It might have been one of the other ones. WGAL? Is that ours?
Yes.
They, people were making jokes and stuff about virtual milkshakes. So I do know I see the story about it.
You know, I don't know if anybody, did you guys have trick-or-treating where you are?
I bought candy and I stood outside for like an hour and nobody showed up, so I went back inside.
Oh,
It was horrible.
I went through 8 bags. We had a lot. And what my neighbors did, they had their youngest son is only like 11 months old, so they put him in a little wagon and put all these balloons. They made like a hot air balloon. And so they rolled him. So they didn't let him come up, but they had another little boy. So I put tubes on my railings and I put everything in bags in advance, like 3 days in advance, and like shooting everything down. So the kids were like running around with their little buckets trying to. But I was amazed. I went through 8 bags of candy. I was kind of hoping for some leftovers. I didn't get any.
I'll mail you mine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I ordered a huge like 5-pound bag of candy, and then with my grocery order that came during trick-or-treating because I'm an idiot, didn't realize what time it was. So I had to turn my porch light off and tell that grocery lady, I'm sorry, my porch light's off. I forgot it was Halloween.
Something else you guys can think about. You could do a poll if you want to do a fun poll. It's like love in the time of COVID. Are people dating? How are they doing that? And it might be fun. I saw this really cute piece on NBC the other night. This couple was supposed to get married, and they're in Maine. I think it's the bride's family who's Canadian, and so they're like, "Well, how are we going to do this?" Like, obviously all the plans are blown up. But she works for the Park Service, and she's really familiar with the water and maritime regulations. So she knew if they got married on a dock in Maine, and she knew exactly how close her family could come from Canada. As long as they didn't step on any property, they could come their boat like within 10 feet of the dock. So they got as close as they could to the edge, and then her family could hear everything on this boat, and then they did everything right there so they could actually physically be there. I'm like, that's the best story I've heard so far. Love in the time of COVID. So
Write that.
might be a cute feature to do. Take some surveys and say, hey, and once we get the Facebook page up, tell us your stories. Are you dating, or did you hate your lover after you had to quarantine, or like, I don't know, words and micro connections have more meaning, and you decide this person said something horrible during a text and then it wasn't horrible, like, oh wow, you said I didn't mean, I mean, just
Yeah, because I had a friend, actually, her husband came home from being on the road, and he came home like the first week of this, and he was like, I'm sorry, I don't love you anymore. And she was like, where the F am I supposed to go then? I'm a stay-at-home mom with your 3 children. Excuse me? We're in a pandemic. What the F do you want from me? Yeah, I can't even imagine. That's why I wanted to do the domestic violence one, the thingy that's coming up, because this is increased.
Yeah, things are happening.
Yeah,
And
so
as
yeah.
far sorry. As far as sports, like I know that Hack obviously can't have sports anymore, but like what are the Hack coaches doing now? Could there maybe be a feature with that, seeing just something about that?
Are they in contact with players? Are they trying to organize workouts, online? Are they at least communicating? Are they allowed to,
Yeah, because are they professors in other aspects, or are they just coaches?
Good question.
Were they outsourced? Were they, put on leave?
Yeah, because usually, at least contract-wise, if somebody teaches PE, then they get a special stipend for being a coach.
Mm-hmm.
Like somebody who directs theater, for example, would get almost a performing arts stipend. But if they don't teach PE, but some people are a coach and they teach it. My brother-in-law was a tennis coach and he taught English. He just happened to have a lot of experience teaching tennis. Nobody wanted to coach tennis. So, yeah, it's a good question. It's a great story.
And yeah, that was the Lancaster Democratic Party. They said that they would forward my information to their media department because they had a lot of requests. And she said actually that even the local races, we might not have results back for even a couple days. She's like, in the primaries, she's like, it was like a week before they even had results for their people. So she said it might not even stop at the presidential race. It's probably going to trickle down all the way to the local elections. So she said, we'll be in touch. So
yeah, and that's something I was worried about, is if we will even have anything to talk about.
Well, you talk about the fact that you don't have anything to talk about.
Well, yeah. I mean, outside of that, but.
I don't know if you guys followed what the Republicans tried to do. Kerry Benninghoff, he's the House Majority Leader for PA. That they were trying to form, and this is kind of convoluted. I just had to interview him for something, for his race, and he was trying to form a committee that was going to be the oversight committee of the elections, and basically all they had to do was sit back and watch if for the state house races. You can look this up. Actually, the New Yorker had the better article from it, believe it or not, than local media did. And they were just going to watch. And basically, if they were going to be able to challenge it based on, mail-in or whatever it was, and all they had to do was challenge it. And then it could have invalidated the bulk of the election, the bulk of the votes. But thankfully, enough people protested, including almost every county commissioners, and they all like, no, you can't do that. This is not part of the state constitution. You can't do that. We don't need, the legislature to form oversight committees of our. We just spent millions the last 2 years, renovating and purchasing new voting machines to make sure we don't have any discrepancies. That we're not hacked. We have no. Absolutely not. So there was enough of a ruckus, but the feds were like, do you understand what's happened? You understand what this means? And people locally didn't really get how bad this was going to be. So that could have been really bad. So everything happens in Pennsylvania. I mean, it just does, It just does.
Well, that's what's so exciting about PA is presidential. It could go either way. Congressional races. I mean, we have a Democrat governor and a Republican, controlled House. So that's cool. We're so close to the U.S. Capitol. We're so close to Harrisburg. Yeah. We're right in the middle of everything. Yeah. It'll be pretty boring living in like Tennessee or Oklahoma, So.
Yeah.
Well, Oklahoma catches fire, so it might not be that exciting or boring.
Sure. You consider that exciting, yeah.
Yeah, I've driven through that. That was one side of the road was on fire, the other one it's done. It was very odd. Now the about sections. I've been pretty MIA this weekend, but I did go in and check the two that are there for Jess and Rachel. Write them in third person. They look great that way, and then. When we get headshots, upload them as well to your thing. Don't save them as published. I think the two that you guys submitted are published. Save them as a draft so we can go through and look at them first. And
I don't know how to do it as a draft.
It's on the
looking at that.
I can take a screenshot. It's on the right hand side. This might not be the right hand side, where you click to schedule stuff for the stories, and it'll say status published. You'll just hit edit. And then you'll switch it to draft and hit update.
Okay, if you show screenshot that's fine. Thanks.
Yeah.
That was my bad. I thought we were uploading them.
No, that's fine. No, it's all right. I want to make sure that they're, written right and presentable for the public. Because pictures and stuff for the headshots. Were you here for that?
Mm-hmm.
You can go into the media, the gallery, and make a folder that says do election headshots or something. Name it that way. It's not in the big scrolly list of everything, so you can find stuff easier. You'll just click I believe it's media, and then there should be a thing and on the top or the side where it says add gallery, and I believe it makes a new folder.
Oh, I don't think I was here for that, but who exactly am I getting pictures of?
That's right. The list. David, do you have everybody's names? Because I don't know who they all are.
I can read what I have if that helps.
I'm sorry. I can send in the chat then, because I'm going to have to search for it, because I did have it.
Okay. Thanks.
And Stu, I went back to staff profiles. I think the only reason I published mine was because I didn't have an option to save it as a draft, or unless I'm missing it.
I might be missing it.
That's what I thought too, but I don't know.
Yeah, because I don't have mine drawn up yet. This weekend was a weekend. Yeah, because if you hit quick edit, you can set them to draft and stuff. But in the big one, you should be able to here. Do it again. Give this one. Okay, so over here, where it says publish, do you guys see that? So
Yeah.
I can't see my Zoom screen right now. It closed on my other window for whatever reason. Yeah, it says status published. So you'll, type or whatever, hit edit, click this, go to draft, and hit OK. And so this won't publish then, whatever you have in here. And then when you're done or whatever, hit update, and it'll stay that way.
Okay, but if I publish it by accident, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean,
I should be
whatever.
fine, but
yeah,
I should be. I don't know. I get clumsy.
No, it's all right. I do all kinds of stuff. When I was screwing with it originally, I published a bunch of stuff on accident, and I'm glad no one was paying attention. All right. What else? I did everything for my list of story ideas for next week. I went through and edited everything today. That should all be good and ready to go, finalized when the edits are, you guys work them in. I mean, do you want a copy of all the stories that we have ready, T, or do you not?
Sure.
Okay.
Whoa.
So we have, how many do we have? Oh, that's just running in the background. It's on mute. I was like, wait, what? It's Bob. He's playing Raft. He's not. I can't hear him. I just leave it run so that he gets like the watch time for people, the little number counter on the top.
Okay.
I can't hear it. I don't know what he's doing. He's probably dying. What was I going to say? Oh, the stories. Yeah. I'm going to look now. I'm trying to think of anything else. What else do we need to accomplish during this meeting? Because I'm still like kind of on the fence of what even these are. Because I get that they're budget meetings, but like that doesn't, I'm still not 100% on what to expect on these meetings. So
it's also time for you to tell me what you need, what I can make demands of. For some reason, everybody's out this week, and it's frustrating me. Some things that I have demanded that they've offered, I'm like, no, that's not working. That's not working. So Jess and I do have some meetings on Wednesday. I think that's going to help. I think solidify all the business stuff so that I'm hoping that's done, and then she will, won't need me so much. Because I think we've got everything set for business. So if I can just get Kayla set up with the social media, I think a lot of the groundwork will be done being laid. At least what I can do.
I was about to ask that.
Yeah, I made a request. I didn't get an answer yet. I really wanted for you to have it by today, so you could, be posting stuff on Facebook and posting in Twitter. But
it's okay.
Yeah, I just wanted you to have fun on election night, practice and stuff. But we're getting there.
Mm-hmm.
I think the dean was more concerned that we have a note like in the Dr. Ski's newsletter and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, you could do that. I'm more interested in you actually having practice and hands-on and promotion and things like that. That's more my priority. But
yeah, and she reached out to me and Dugan have a meeting with her Wednesday, because she also wants to touch base with us to see what's going on our end and how we're handling things and make sure. I guess she also needs documents and stuff from me and him that she wanted. So she wants to make sure everything's squared away on our end. Because I did get another email. I guess accounting didn't get some of my information either.
Oh, bummer.
I don't know. I have to take a copy of my driver's license and stuff, I guess. But yeah, we have 7 stories
Okay.
in the Dropbox. There's the interview with Jessica. We did an important dates for students so that they know like when registration is, reimbursements and stuff, just a little info piece. Rachel's interviewing of the House of Vegans and how they're, they started, what they're doing during COVID, because they had lines around the block. How do you handle that during 6 feet apart, don't touch each other? Then Matthew's piece on like the food assistance issues and like food insecurity and how that's impacted by COVID. There's one about commencement so that we know, like, because you can apply to sing or speak and stuff like that and get students involved in that. There's a piece on that. We did a sports-focused movie list of movies to watch for the arts and entertainment / sports kind of topics. And then Catherine did another plant, her part 2 plant thing on top of, to supplement all the, all of this is to supplement all the election stuff that we have to work on.
Cool.
So
that was a good addition.
Yep. But yeah, the stories that were proposed, who wants what? For who's here, what do you want? And then we will disperse to the ones that aren't here from there.
I can probably do love in the time of COVID. I might need to get motivated a little, but I could probably do it. We'll see.
Sorry, what were, I can probably do any of them, if you have a preference of what I work on.
I don't know. Ruth, do you have an idea what you would like to work on?
I don't have a huge preference. I'm okay with writing pretty much anything as long as it isn't sports.
I feel you. Do you want to do some of the Veterans Day stuff for the next round?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Okay. And I can get you, if you don't have access to that student thing on D12, I don't know if everyone's a part of that. Are they?
I hope they are.
I think.
It just defaults, doesn't it? It just shows up, the announcements tab.
Yeah, I was in it automatically.
All right. Yeah, it's in there. That's where I pulled all that stuff from word for word so that we could look at it. Yeah, talk about the Zoom thingy because it says, all students are welcome. Well, it says all are welcome. It doesn't even say it's students specifically.
Any students or faculty can come to that one. So yeah, come to that one. I get to introduce them.
And then on top of that, we probably should think about doing more Veterans Day stuff, but I don't even. What should we focus on? I know I brought up last time about reaching out to the veterans group that Rachel knew existed.
To talk about services, that are available. How are they coping, being remote, things like that. What are their stories? What was the transition like from service to school?
Maybe interviews with students who are veterans, like
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, do you get all that, Ruth?
Yep, got it.
Okay, good. All right. Kayla, would you like to write a piece while you're like waiting for social media so you can get some like style going and edits and see how stuff flows?
I mean, if you want me to, I'm really not a good writer.
See, all the more practice. What should we do? Do you want to write about the coral reef? Do you like science?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Okay. Well, I can send you some of the links that I have, but you'll have to, find more stuff. The one I liked because it had pictures of it. So you can see what it looks like for yourself. I don't know. We probably can't use those, right?
No, try to find some that are open access.
Okay. And if we can't, I mean, describe it as best as you can.
Okay.
I don't know. I was thinking I was going to give you this story, Catherine, but Twitter is always doing things. And apparently between, TikTok and Twitter and all these places, and the demographic of this paper is students. So TikTok is a thing. Twitter is a thing. Do you know who Corpse is?
Nope.
Well, he blew up on TikTok between like the e-girls and the cat girls and stuff. That whole weird side of TikTok that the teenagers are doing. And Twitter, he broke Twitter twice. His fan base is worse than the K-pop fan base, if you know anything about that, and how vicious they can be on Twitter. And he broke Twitter twice. It literally went down the time that they were trying to get him verified, I think it was, where it was like only hands, like they were making jokes because you can't see his face. For background for Teresita, he's completely faceless. He makes music. Originally, he started on YouTube with reading scary stories. But nobody knows what he's like. He was talking on stream the other day how a few months ago he literally was held at gunpoint and almost died, and this month, or October rather, he beat out the K-pop stands on Twitter to donate $10,000 from Mr. Beast to any charity he wanted. Like, almost dead, famous overnight. And I think it's interesting because we don't see his face. He is very popular on Twitter right now. There's various hashtags and stuff going on. Mr. Beast knows him, Jacksepticeye knows him. Like, he played Among Us the other day with Logic, and Logic was singing his own songs to him, and he almost cried on stream.
Aw.
Like, it was crazy. I mean, I don't know if you know who Logic is. Do any of you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I figured, Catherine, it would be more for you because all these things are your
Do you think I'm
demographic.
weird?
No, they're just your demographic. It's just where it is. I'm 34. I only know about this stuff because of my 10-year-old. I mean,
I have nieces.
Yeah.
It's cool.
But like I think it would be neat to do a piece on like, the viralness of the internet or like social media and its impact, and more demographic based stories on top of all this other stuff that we're doing. But I didn't know if you wanted it, but I could focus it because I've been following it. I don't know them, I don't anything like that. I've just been following it on Twitter and stuff, because even lately creators have been reaching out to him and making sure he's okay, because can you imagine 1 month you're nobody and the next month you play Among Us with a bunch of people on the internet and your concurrent viewers are the same that AOC got when she tried to get people out to vote on Twitch. He had like between 300 to 500,000 concurrent viewers on YouTube. That's PewDiePie numbers. Come on now.
Yeah.
That's insane. So I figured that might be a fun piece, but I haven't written anything yet, so I figured I'll just write it and maybe.
Something else we could think about, and this might be up Kayla's alley, as a social media person, top 5 TikTok videos. Is there a way to find out if people at Hack are posting anything, or top 5 Twitter posts, or stuff like that? Can we kind of stalk people who are at Hack? Is there on some of the Hack sites, Hack Facebook? Just a thought. Something light.
Like top 5 TikToks from people who go to Hack?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll consider it.
Yeah.
Might do some digging, but yeah, you could probably figure that out.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Because then it's like us giving them a shout out, so they might like that too.
Exactly.
I don't know where we at. We're at an hour. I can't think of anything right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna go
I need to
soon.
write about.
My power's back on, so I'm gonna leave right now because I want to get warm and cozy. So I'll
Okay.
see you guys in a little bit. If there's anything you need to fill me on, just email me.
All right. Thanks,
All
Catherine.
right, see ya.
Bye.
Well, you're working on the election stuff that we reached out to you about. Okay.
Let me know if you need
And
help,
that's
Rachel.
Yeah. Because I don't politics either. I mean,
I was gonna say I'm really bad at politics. I'm sorry, David. When you were like the 10th and the 15th and the 13th, I'm like, how many are there?
No, it's okay. I think they make it intentionally confusing. I will well, I'll be like tomorrow night, and I'll be like I'll be helping you out with that type of stuff. So even if we have to do on Zoom or something, or like Dr. T, you said that you would have your Zoom chat open.
Yeah.
So whatever we can do, we'll
Okay.
work something out.
Okay, thank you.
And then Stu, I'm sure if we need you, we can always just send you a message in the chat.
Yeah, and make me come on the Zoom or whatever where you need me. Just make me show up, because I'll probably just be laying in bed watching YouTube anyhow.
Sure.
Trying to write this paper that's due in 2 days.
Yeah, I'll keep everything open. I'll probably invite all my 221 students also. So I'll have
The 221 students, so there aren't 221 of them.
No, the journalism class you're going to take next semester.
That was funny. I had a quiz question once. It was a style. It was about Fiddler on the Roof. It said when Tevye sang, "If I were a rich man, Fiddler on the Roof," what kind of mood was he in? And so the goal was to punctuate according to AP style, the song "If I Were a Rich Man" and "Fiddler on the Roof." And some people didn't see that. They actually wrote, "He seemed rather happy." So that 221 just kind of reminded me of that. I just took the question out because that was just so pure and innocent. Like I can't take points off of it. That was just so precious. But it kind of reminded me of that. All right, we done?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so the only thing that I have to do is round up the minions and create a Zoom starting at what time tomorrow?
When does any of that start?
I guess we could do it whenever. I mean, I know throughout the day I'm going to be doing like a lot of. I know throughout like during the day my schedule's packed, but like in the evening, that's when. I mean, that's really the time that matters, anyways.
Yeah.
So, I will say though, tomorrow, like I don't know if anyone is going to be in line voting tomorrow, but I mean, if they just want to ask voters questions, I'll definitely do that. So,
that'd be a good idea.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're standing in line, definitely do that. And if you need help like formulating the questions, we can talk about that in the chat.
Wish I had a press pass for you guys. Let me see if I can figure out something that I can adapt and you can print it out. Yeah.
If you need to laminate it, use packing tape and lay it real flat and then cut the edges. Makes a nice lamination in a hurry.
I only give lanyards and I have, which I can't because, I can't quarantine them.
You like shoestring and tape it. It'll look super professional.
Yeah.
One time my lanyard broke and I grabbed my and put it around my shirt. It worked. If I was tall, it would have been a different story. But since I'm, not tall, it worked. Probably like Rachel. It would have been just fine. All right, I'll see if I can find something. I mean, I know I have it, but I don't know if I can adapt. It might be all. Hey, I should send it to Kayla since you know Photoshop better than I do.
Okay.
I have the graphics.
So should we just use like the HawkEye graphics in the media files for Snow? Can we adapt those into a press badge?
Well, I have a whole folder of graphics Barone created.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, she.
Can you put those in the D2L under their own little like heading, maybe?
Yeah.
Like in the content?
I don't see why not.
Okay. Awesome.
Good idea. You guys can go wild. Okay, anything else for the good of the order?
Did you guys see if like D2L people, if I can get it on yet?
You show up. I don't know what the problem is.
Yeah, you show up.
Okay.
What happens when you log on? Do you see a place to click on ongoing?
Mm-hmm.
And what happens?
It just shows my regular classes.
But it should
maybe kick.
Go ahead.
Maybe kick her out and then put her back in. Kind of like a turn it on and turn it off again.
I can do that. Okay. Anything else? So 3 things I have to do. Press
I'm very
pass,
good.
Zoom. I'll start Zoom at like 7 or 8.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and remove David from the D2L.
Yes.
Or should we send out a notice?
I'll
Let
just
him know that he's been let go, or just delete him?
I'll take him off snow, and then I'll send him a note and say if I don't hear from you by next Monday, then I'll taking you off D2L.
Perfect.
Because snow is, for some reason, that's what I worry about more. But
Yes, same. Yeah, D2L. I mean, what are they going to do? Only we can see it.
yeah, exactly. Okay. All right, gang. As my
Right.
boss used to say, go give him a hug. He did. It was really funny.
All right.
Hasta mañana, pues.